Greetings and good fortune, my mystic Motley. James Golden here, storyteller, author, lorekeeper, but right now it is my divine pleasure to bring to you the misunderstood monsters that trek through Twilight Saturnine Night, the Prometheans. Tonight's topic are the unwilling shamans of the pilgrimage, those created, named after Ulgan. Strap in, get comfortable, grab a bevvy, because it's go time. Welcome to Blacklist Redacted. Let's get it. Ulgan, the Riven, Humour, ectoplasmic, intuitive, instinctual, element, spirit, ephemeral reality, mystical perception. I have broken through to the second ground. The shaman is called against his will. The chosen must answer the call. Students of shamanic cultures understand this. To be shaman is not a role one chooses, but a mystical vocation certain individuals are destined for. While some mortals throughout history have received visions of being dragged into the spirit world or of their souls being shredded like pieces of paper and put back together, that is the literal truth of the Riven. Imagine that the very first memory you have is the sensation of being thrust into a world of twilight and torn apart by raging spirits. You didn't ask for such a thing. Who would ask for such a thing? Waking in confusion and agony, your very first sensation, pain and suffering, one foot in the world of man, the other strictly still and always will be forever in the world of spirit. No one. They are without a cut, a soul, and the absence of which creates a void, now filled with an ectoplasmic substance that binds the Promethean together and forces it to entreat with spirits. This state of being is a prison for the Ulgans. Spirits rage within and without, taking them when they sleep and overriding their personality during bouts of torment. But in order to transmute their Azoth and become human, they cannot shy from this responsibility. The Riven must act as shamans and deal with those spirits that wish to escape into the mortal world, and over the course of a pilgrimage, bring that magnificent redeemed soul to humanity, thus bridging the gap between human and spirit a little bit more. Eat outright, your highness. Yes, idiot. As shamans, they do their very best to be professional, inasmuch as a walking corpse imbued by alchemical ectoplasm can be, of course. They are polite and reserved, never allowing the spirits they interact with to know their true feelings towards it. The Riven take time to learn the correct names and forms of the various spirits, ensuring that their dealings are handled with precision and tact. It doesn't matter to them that such precision looks like madness to the uninitiated. Rituals and dance are important. They honor the spirits, and that's what matters. When taken by torment, the Riven's intuition is perverted into a mockery of itself. Acting on the incomprehensible behaviors of spirits, the Ulgan seeks desperately to gather an object of some importance to a particular spirit. Whether driven by a spirit of curiosity or hate, the Ulgan abandons all pretense of normal human interaction and seeks that object with all of his being. Higher thought and rationale are behind him. Until the torment has flooded through his system, he is a slave to the whims and desires of alien, unfathomable entities. Bleak irony and gallows humor is rarely lost on the Riven. After all, the crude irony of their existence is that while their dealings with spirits alienate them further from the human race, those same dealings bring them closer to the human race. Early on in their history, the lineage discovered that the spirits they most often deal with have little to no concept of humor or sarcasm. It then can be some comfort to gently mock a spirit without it realizing. But the Ulgans also extend this gentle mockery to their companions. Speaking of companions, Ulgans are often a bit of a mystery to their peers. They wield their ephemeral abilities frequently and with great confidence, but they don't seem to want them. Like the rest of the created, they strive for humanity, but unlike the rest of the created, they are not governed by a natural element. but something intangible, something that does not strictly exist. Theirs is the power of instinct, not zeal or staying power or hope, but intuition, the ability to see where others can't and draw purpose from uncertainty. The more hopeful of the lineage say that there is a purpose behind their existence, that when an Ulgan becomes mortal, the spirits scream and tear at his substance, and the new redeemed carries forth a portion of the spirit realm into the mortal realm and the human race. If that's true, then every successful Ulgan redeemed brings the spirit and material world closer together to a state of wholeness once called Pangaea. Cynical Riven say that the spirit stuff that enters the human race when a redeemed has children doesn't stick around long. Well, that's because the descendants of the redeemed are probably the most likely candidates to become Ulgan themselves. Because when a Riven must make another of their kind, they first have to find a body, alive or dead, with an affinity for the spirit element in its blood. And yes, that does mean that many an Ulgan has committed murder for the sake of the Generative Act. They then breathe ectoplasm all over the body, coating it until the spirit substance dissolves back into twilight, taking the new corpse with it. The creator reaches into the ephemeral realm and screams for the spirits to come and tear the body to pieces. Sometimes the spirits must be enticed with animal sacrifice, but when the deed is done, the creator plucks the pieces of the body from twilight and reconstructs it painstakingly. They disgorge more ectoplasm, imbibing it with azoth and using it as a sort of glue, a binding agent to bond and heal the body and thus animate it into a new Promethean. This new created is a shaman in the tradition of the first Ulgan. They are forced to entreat with spirits so that way they might one day escape the spirits, breaking down the walls between the spirit and mortal realms. They are glued together by the substance of nothingness, pressed by their nature and abilities to do the work of the shamans. Their part may be small, but they are blessed as a lineage to know that their part is important, that it has purpose. As creatures of inherent irony, they point out the paradox of Promethean existence, highlighting the difficulties of the pilgrimage and in doing so, adding to its worth by underlining its purpose. There's a point to it all. There's meaning. The origin of this mystical lineage is steeped in ice-cold myth. Let us examine the ancient horse tribes of Siberia and their gods to see what truth can be mined from legend. Ulgan, or Ulgan, was a Turkish creator god, himself the creation of Tengri, though often identified as the same, such as the case of Helios and Apollo. His name meaning rich and magnificent, he signified goodness and abundance and created heaven and all living beings. Among his creation was Erlik, the first man. Discovered as a piece of earth with a man's face floating down a river, Ulgan breathed life into Erlik, and the two were friends. For a time. Erlik, however, was full of pride and arrogance. He coveted Ulgan's power and position and fell from grace, banished to the underworld. There, he claimed the dead dominions as his own and became a god of death. From the deepest pits of the underworld, Erlik rules, residing in a palace made of copper with furniture made of gold. Erlik was the first of the Karakam, the dark shamans who worked with evil spirits. He taught the Karakam how to cross between the material and spirit realms through grueling, visionary ritual. First, they had to become aware of the spirit realm, then undergo a vision where Erlik's servants dragged them across the threshold and tore them to pieces and then put them back together again. When they awoke from this vision, these dark shamans had the power to speak with and touch spirits. The Riven version of the story is a little bit different. In one version, the Karakam were always there, part of human knowledge since humanity was born, and that someone, potentially Tengri, found a way to create a spirit-riven servant. To test this discovery, they found Ulgan, a man possessing the ruling element of spirit in his body. The shamans there cast him into twilight alive, and the spirits tore him apart, an experience that he was aware of the entire time. And he was awake still when Tengri remade him as a soulless entity, but this was a mistake. Tengri had intended to make a slave, but knowing the name of his creator, Ulgan was anything but. In revenge for his now torment-filled existence, Ulgan slew Tengri with his bare hands just moments after waking up as a new Promethean. When the body was cold, he did the same to Tengri, casting him into twilight and remaking him as one of the ectoplasmic created. What's that British phrase? Turnabout is fair play? When Tengri awoke, he had the power of the shamans, but no soul, no cut, and nothing of his original identity. Ulgan called this new being Erlik, and it was from him that the lineage stabilized and grew. There are those who believe that Erlik might have been the first failure of Ulgan, the first of his Pandorans, and that Ulgan was forced to begin the lineage with another. The tale is told infrequently, and the details are lost to time and history. Some of the Ulgan line don't draw their origins from Siberia at all, but from Greek isles and Dionysian legends. These Riven claim descent from Orpheus, the lyre player, who descended into the underworld in pursuit of his deceased wife Eurydice. Upon his return, the priests of Dionysus tore him to pieces alive and threw him into the river. Familiar? By the divine will of Dionysus, one of the archetypal god-men of archaic mythology, Orpheus was restored to wholeness. The Prometheans who prefer to believe this tale call themselves Orpheans and consider themselves a different lineage from the Ulgan entirely, though the only difference seems to be a matter of names. The Riven, by whatever name they choose, can look like anyone. Long ago, all Riven were male descendants of shamanic cultures of Central Asia, but now, the Ulgan have no preference for bodies. Whether male, female, large, thin, short, tall, all that really matters is that the body has an affinity for elemental spirit. The Ulgans always know the right bodies to choose, in the same way that an Osiris knows how to rebuild a corpse or a Frankenstein knows how to sew body parts back together. They just do. One consistent trait of the Riven is their eyes. They change color after the new being awakens as a Promethean. Sometimes they become very pale blue or green or jet black. But they change. Thankfully, it is usually within the realm of human possibility. When their disfigurements show and the Promethean's true nature is visible to bystanders, it is horrifying to behold. Their skin changes color, growing paler or darkening, and takes on a leathery texture. Some Riven, their eyes lose color altogether, becoming solid black or white, while others dissolve completely, leaving nothing behind but void black sockets in which distant stars twinkle while ectoplasm leaks into the air. Wounds in their flesh become visible, gaping, and bloodless, with nothing inside but darkness, which begins to seep out and permeate around the Ulgan like aura. On their twilight pilgrimage, the Ulgan can practice nearly any refinement, but they are often drawn to one above the others. Seeking to use their spirit-connected state to escape their Promethean state, many turn to Aurum, pursuing knowledge of humanity and their understanding of spirituality. There are some who select no refinement, using instead their ruling humor, ectoplasmic, as a means of learning what they are. These Riven believe that in order to escape what they are, they must first understand it. Few Ulgans practice Farum, as the physical realm only holds a single major attraction: becoming human. Distracted as they are by the spiritual, not many have the necessary interest to see iron through. When it comes to character creation, the Riven have ample choices. After all, they can be anyone. What makes a body worthy of becoming an Ulgan is not strictly covered by game mechanics. Many turn inward as their knowledge of their new state grows, represented by mental attributes and skills becoming primary, and quite a few supplement this with the merit meditative mind. The Ulgans are drawn to the virtues faith and prudence. Faith represents the fire that guides them through the fog, the trust in visions and signs that others just cannot see. Prudence is beyond useful as a trait and represents knowing when to act and when to stay still. For a shaman, there is a cost to reckless curiosity, and the Riven learn this very early on. Many Ulgan possess the vices gluttony and lust. As spiritually connected entities, they often crave earthly, human sensation. Gluttony represents a tendency to overindulge in Everything from emotional intensity, spiritual communion, and yes, even physical pleasures, all in an attempt to fill the void of the soul. Lust represents a craving for intimacy, fusion, ecstasy. Many of the Riven seek to lose themselves in others in the thrill of being seen, touched, felt. The Ulgans walk the threshold of the spirit realm and the material, their every facet reflecting the emotional toll of living between two worlds, of great and terrible power, and a desire to be absolutely free of it. They are the mystical shamans of the pilgrimage, the walking, haunted temples of the created, and they seek freedom from their spiritual prisons with all of their being. Lords and legends, it has been a blast cracking open the tomes of lore to explore with you the misunderstood monsters known as Prometheans. But what if I told you that even among the legendary created, there are lineages so rare and horrible that they can hardly be believed? Lineages so impossible, they are told as folk rambles around Azothic campfires, wasteland tales whispered only by the very brave or the very foolish. Join me next time as we take a dive into the fascinating world of hypertech within the world of darkness and what happens when the fires of creation are used to animate something not of blood, flesh, and bone, but something that has never been alive, something that has never known life. We call such a being the unfleshed. Until then, hold tight to the vibrant, magical soul housed deep within your vessel. Seek with all of your being the connectivity of the spirit, and know as I do the truth of this world. Bright may be the day, but sanguine is the night.